Hey everybody, it's Colin. I just rode almost 100 miles today. What a beautiful day. Almost 80 degrees. I got my daughter on the back and we were hungry, so we decided to stop at Wawa, our favorite place. Sorry, Bodine 52, had to throw that in there. And I wanted a sub and she wanted a quesadilla, so we had to stop in. And it's kind of a pain now because to wash all that beautiful sub down, I needed a nice coffee. Before I get to the coffee, do you guys have like a standard sub or standard something when you go to these type places to get? Like mine is pretty simple, but I always get the sub no matter what. It's a 10-inch toasted only roast beef, and it's sad that my wife knows this and people at my work, so if they ever get something at Wawa, they'll know. I said, that's fine. And I get roast beef, I get onions, pickles, cheddar, horseradish, salt, pepper, Parmesan, and bacon. And no matter what, I always get that. And to wash that down, I needed some coffee, and it's pain now because I like getting my own coffee. I don't like people touching my coffee. Well, here they have to do that now. So I give them the cup, or they actually have cups behind that little barrier, that plexiglass barrier, and they'll tell you what you want. And then normally I drink coffee black, but today I was in the mood for some sugar and hazelnut cream, so I asked them for that. And then they hold the cup up, and then they like show you pouring it, and I'm like, no, that's too much. Yeah, it's too late. So anyway, they have to fill it up themselves, and then they give it to you. And it just doesn't taste the same if you don't do it. So it's kind of one of the downfalls of what's going on. But what I'm going to talk about today as we, whoa, see? That guy almost pulled out and took me out. Nothing like slamming that coffee in that sub. Oh, it was tasty. We're heading home now after a great day of riding. But what I want to talk about today is, do you take your kids riding? If you have kids, do you plan, or if you don't, do you plan on raising them to ride bikes? And if you don't know this, I kind of came from a household that was anti-motorcycle, anti-two-wheels. And I've talked about this before in a couple videos. My older sister, unfortunately, when she was 4 or 5, she was hit by a motorcycle. She's okay. She's still around. But that kind of dampened my spirits of my folks to let me grow up on two wheels. And even though it's weird, because even though I was really never around them, with the exception of like 2 or 3 years growing up, I always had this itch to ride. And I didn't really start riding until I was in my 30s. That's when I got my first bike. So I knew that I wanted my kids to get involved. Thank goodness my wife is the same way. She's very open to the idea. But what's funny is I have 2 girls and a boy. And then my oldest daughter, and she's in her early 20s, and she never got interested in it. She's rode with me a couple times, but she never wants to pursue it. My son, who's in the middle, he likes riding. He wants to buy a bike one day, but he doesn't want to buy anything like this. He wants to buy a sport bike. He's the kind of a risk taker, which worries me because he wants to go fast, but he's a very responsible kid. But my youngest daughter, who's on the back right now, she is passionate about bikes. Every time that I go out on a ride, not every time, but most of the time that I go out, she wants to go with me. She's like, hey, you going out for a ride? Can I join? And of course I'm going to say, sure, absolutely, come join me. And that's what's great about it. Having her on the back of the bike today has been wonderful. And we're not hooked up on comms or anything. We have it set up. But she's got her iPad, or whatever those things are called, the AirPods. And she's end up talking to her boyfriend all friggin' day. And instead of trying to talk to me, which is normal. But anyway, she just enjoys it. And that's what I really love about it. And I'm glad that she's got that passion for it. And I know, listening to some other creators, and they talk about their history of their bikes. They talk about how they grew up with bikes, how they rode with their dad or uncle or whoever, and they want to pay it forward with their kids, and that's cool. So that's kind of what I want to do. And my youngest daughter, again, who's sitting behind me, she's almost 17 now. She already's talking about getting her first bike, and I love that. I took her out to the dealership a couple months back, and she started looking around, and she's like, I don't like those big ones like you do. I want something a little bit smaller. So I was showing her some of the Dynas, and she likes the Sportster and all that stuff. So, but I'm like, first, she's only been driving for 6 months now. So I want her to get, learn how to drive 100%. But in Maryland, you can actually take your MSF class classes, you know, and you don't have to be 18 or anything. But she's planning on probably about a year looking at taking that class because she wants to get out and eventually get a bike and ride together. And I think that's just outstanding that the two of us can, because my wife's not a big fan of having her own bike. She doesn't mind riding on the back, but she's not looking forward to like going out and buying one. She does want a trike though, but I'm not getting her a trike. Those things are really, really expensive. So I want to see what you guys do. I want to see if like how you were raised. Were you raised around bikes or two wheels your entire life? Or if you have kids, or even if you don't, do you plan on doing that where you kind of immerse them in the motorcycle culture, immerse them into two wheels so when they get older, they'll want to kind of take the helms from you, and then more importantly that we can ride together, and that's probably the most important thing. And you know, spending 100 miles with her today is much better than sitting at home and her, you know, talking on the phone or playing her games or whatever, or even doing homework or online schooling right now. But you know, it's amazing the bond we have. We actually end up stopping in a couple different places, talking for a couple minutes, looking over some water, and just enjoying the road and enjoying life. And I think that's what it's all about. So let me know your thoughts, guys. Now get out there and ride if you can. Like a beautiful day today. I had to get out. I mean, almost 80 degrees. Be well, and I'll talk to you guys soon.